Hi, everyone. We're going to start to talk in a few minutes. So if you're there, please hop on and we would love to share with you and connect with you. So let us know you're there. Give us a hi. And Debbie's going to be helping me today. And we would love to see you or feel you and be with you.
Okay, so I think we're up and going, we're live, and I believe that I am the only person on right now logged in from my phone.
Okay.
So we'll just give
wait a few minutes. And just to say that it's a calm, sunny day today, which I'm completely grateful for. And Debbie's in the hot desert. So
yeah, we've been having 111 the last couple of days.
Yeah, those 111s, those little portal numbers.
That's right. Okay, looks like we've had a couple people join us, so
I'm glad.
On and want to say hi in the chat.
Yeah, please let us know you're there. Say hi. We're going to get started really shortly. And we have a message and some creators teachings today. We're angling this into what's going on in the world and how this connects to our childhood. Those of us who have had trauma in the background. And so we hope that you can participate, be with us, give us your feedback, let us know you're there.
And we have Hill on, so hi Hill, welcome.
Hi. And we're just waiting for a few more people to hop on. Debbie is, I can't really see the Facebook Live, so Debbie's letting me know who shows up. So please let us know, because otherwise I'm not aware of who's watching and who's not. And we want you to feel inclusive, and we want to be there for you. What's going on in the world?
I was doing it from my phone and I got it. We've got Michelle O'Neill on as well.
Great. Okay, so there's a background of someone talking, Debbie, so check that.
It's you talking because I accidentally hit the play button on my phone.
Okay.
And then I was trying to get it off because when I saw the comments, it said only selected comments were there, and I was trying to figure out how to get all comments, and I accidentally started it from my phone.
Well,
so
just to let everybody know, this is like we're in the shadows of the Mercury retrograde right now, and so these little things will come up. So just hang with us for a moment, and we're going to start momentarily. And thank you who have joined us so far. Yeah.
Okay, so I say we
start.
Okay,
great. So I'm Judy Dragon, and I was in Vianna Stiebel's first class in Theta Healing when she taught it outside Idaho, and that was in the late 90s. And I have a 30-year background specializing in childhood abuse, and I've been in the healing arts since the 70s. So right now, I was living in a war zone in Northern California. Things are calmer now, thank you, Creator. And I want to introduce my co-partner, my co-teammate in the Moving Beyond Trauma project, which is our nonprofit. You want to take over, Debbie?
Sure. Hi, my name is Debbie Zeitz, and I joined Judy and Layla working with a nonprofit a couple of years ago. Most of the time, I do behind the scenes type things for the project and let Layla and Judy be the face of it. But as the times are changing, we're adjusting to that, and here I am helping to get our message out.
Thanks, Deb. So, has anyone else hopped on and wants to say hi?
I think that we're good right now with the people that we have.
Okay, great. So I wanted to just start off. Our topic is about the difference between being right and confrontational and standing in our truth. And I'm gearing it both towards childhood abuse and the patterns that where this comes from and what's happening in the world today. So just to say that my intuitive abilities partially came from being born with them, and also the really deep healing work that I've committed myself to do on the trauma healing since the 80s. I was sex trafficked for years, but I didn't start to remember that until in the 80s. So waking up from all that was really hard to do, but just to say that the journey has been totally worth it. I don't think I would be speaking to you today. So a couple of weeks ago, Layla, who Debbie mentioned is one of our other teammates, and I talked on a Facebook Live about the inner rebel, and we shared a couple of stories. We had no idea that the outer rebels would make their appearance soon afterwards. And so when that inner rebel isn't communicated and worked with, the way this personality shows up in the world can lead to just really great difficulties and violence. When we have a difference of opinions that occur, it often adds up more fuel to the fires, the anger, the rage that's been stirring from childhood or in the cultures, perhaps for lifetimes. And it's like how one's survived by having been threatened over and over or abused over and over. So just to say that there's so much that's happening to confuse people. And I do understand that we all have different perceptions of what's going on. I don't really want to get political other than to say from the truth of my background and the revealing of my inner journey, I do feel that there is an intentional and well-orchestrated energy. Hollywood has been revealing what's been happening for years. If any of you haven't seen the movie Wag the Dog from 1999, it's light, it's funny, but there are really deep truths that are reflective of what's going on in the planetary story right now. Those of us who have actually taken the time to commune with that seventh plane unconditional love, we're going to hear a lot of truths that are going to come from it that may be very difficult. But we don't hear it in a difficult way. We hear it through those words of an experience of love. So healing from childhood abuse is not easy either, and for many reasons. One is that the truths that are revealed that are, that the conscious mind didn't know or hadn't put together is difficult. Abuse can go really deep as it unravels through some of those horrendous rabbit holes. It's shocking to the reality that was constructed to see things at a surface level. And so it's similar in the world as it unravels into the underbelly. I remember when things initially came up in my repressed memories, and it was just so unbelievable to me. I had to tell others in my dissociated states, and mostly my close friends and my family, or I wouldn't even believe myself. But the interesting thing is going outside of myself for others' opinions of my reality is a pattern that this world is fairly entrenched in. But that really wasn't very validating to me most of the time. It caused me to have more anger and to distrust my own truths in comparing them to what my family remembered. And I realized that my experience weren't necessarily part of my family's. And I didn't know that then. So just to say, I was a fighter as a kid, meaning I argued with my parents or other authoritarian figures. I could see the insanity of their words and their actions, and I'd get punished a lot. They would often say to me, "Hey, Judy, you're the angry one. You always have to have the last word." And I remember like covering my mouth and going like this to them as a kid, like, "No, you have the last word." Because I always had to let them know what they were doing. So also, I would take up for the underdogs. I hung out with the least popular crowds because I understood their feelings, and it helped me to have them mirror back and validate what I was experiencing, because I couldn't even trust my feelings. So I attempted to follow not the in crowd, but the outside, and not follow the herd. So I've always been on those outside fringes. So when the traffickers used me, my fighting or resistance would cause more threats, more abuse, and sometimes even death. I have had near-death experiences. My nervous system learned to collapse to survive. So I go from fight-flight mode to collapse. And that's certainly not a great thing for the autonomic nervous system regulation in staying healthy. So I've had to do a lot of physical healing because of it. In families where there's patterns of fighting or domestic violence or abusive language and shaming and retribution because you disagree with an authority household figure, there are several patterns that are entrenched in this that I want to talk about. And I'm going to just probably name two. So I just want to take a breath, and just to make sure that you're there, just to say that I appreciate you being here. So the first one that comes to my mind is having to be right. That confrontational mode becomes a survival mechanism. I had to prove that the others were wrong, so my reality had significance. So I felt I had power. And that was mostly hierarchical power because I lived in a boss mode. And that was so that I could feel I won. Otherwise, my childhood would have felt powerless and hopeless. They told me, they, meaning those that trafficked me, told me I would never be free, I would always be tracked, and that they owned me. And they attempted to make sure that I wouldn't survive long enough out into adulthood. But I'm here. So just to say, they lied, and I fought them. And it was a battle. And I knew their lies. And it hasn't changed much from what's going on today. So I kind of speak again from my own experience here. In families where children are held hostage to their parents or parental authority fights, like attempting to stop it, you end up feeling triangulated in that fight. And it's similar to growing up in a battlefield. It's very familiar when you're an adult to go back into that same pattern of feeling like you're living in a battlefield and trying to protect yourself. These are survival coping mechanisms. And if they're not worked with, you end up, as I said, fighting others or proving yourself right and others wrong, or retaliation or destruction, or the other end of it is depression, or suicide. So when I learned theta healing and the non-dualism of it, I learned that the battle was over from the seventh plane perspective, from that energy of unconditional love. There is no battle. It's just love and pure truth. And the beliefs in having to fight for my truth was an illusion. It was a way, like I said, to survive. I learned that I didn't have to convince others when I owned it myself, when I knew it was in every cell of my body. So I could stand in my truth with that. So what does that actually mean? Standing in one's truth. It means that my inner revealing, my intuition, my truth is owned as an experience that resonates for me. And I'm able to express it to others, if I choose, from a neutral ground. When others are attempting to deny my truth, I see that it's about their fears and not my issues, because I know it's true for me. So reaching that place for myself has been a real gift. Not saying I'm perfect around it, but there are some wonderful benefits that I can tune into my body when I know it's true for me. And it helps my nervous system to regulate. It helps me to disengage from another if they want to argue, because I'm really not into arguing. It helps me then to agree to disagree. It helps me to focus on helping those who are ready to shift into a deeper spiritual awareness and aware of the truths of what's going on. And to be perfectly honest, not everyone has that capacity. How can we expect, say, for instance, like a kindergartner to drive a car when they can't even reach the pedals? They can't. It's not going to happen. So to have that expectation of others, it's about me then. So I also learned I can set my boundaries. I can take care of myself. And I realize the other can do the same if they choose. If others don't see it my way, it's not about something I did or didn't do, even if that's what's projected at me. And that was one of the hugest patterns for me to move through. I can separate it out now. I don't have to do the work that will bring the others to an understanding unless we both agree that that's what they want. And I'm not going to get punished in not convincing someone, because that's what I had to do as a child. I also want to say that I can't save the world, but I can do my part in participating in what feels aligned and in balance to my needs and my divine purpose. Giving service isn't about saving anyone, but helping everyone to raise their consciousness to the next level. I can let go and trust that the other will learn in their way, even if it means that they're going to get sick or die. I mean, this has been such a big thing for me to realize that I may witness that. I witnessed it as a child. So I've had to move through those difficult memories. I'm not in control of somebody else's journey. That's between them and all that is. I don't have to prove who I am. When I find myself falling into that pattern, I realize it's a reflective piece for me. It's where I'm misaligned. And just to say, with all the rhetoric that's going on right now, for me, and it's always been true for me, all lives matter. I've always felt it. I feel it's time to stop the divisional and polarizing programs. I see that as a human species, we can live in a different way from our hearts, from our truths, and progress from there. I don't see that we can do it any other way. It's old. It's an old paradigm. So we can also see that from the seventh plane of love, it runs through everything. Even, I know this is going to be a big one, even if it's considered evil. If we can see that God spark in others, no matter, or other things, we're going to be helping them to recognize the truth about themselves as well. And I'm wondering if we can do that. It's going to take work. It's going to take tuning into ourselves. So I want to just leave you with that question. Can we do that? And thanks for hanging with me. Kind of brought up some feelings. So Debbie, you want to help me with the downloads?
Yes.
And I just want to check with everybody. If you're still there, just say hi.
Yep, they're still here. And I think listening, not a lot of comments that are out there.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to say, all you have to do is say yes to yourselves to receive these creators' teachings, which are concepts that you may not have. And if you want to receive them through all that is, I will just witness that for all of you. Okay, Debbie.
Okay. I know what it feels like, how to, when to, that it's possible, that it's safe, that I'm worthy, deserving, and good enough, and that I can. I do have your power aligned with all that is and expressing your truths. Participating in the changes that feel aligned with your truths, your needs, and care about others. And trusting that others can find their experiences of truth in their timing.
Okay.
Experience outer triggers as reflective of my inner world. All lives matter, and to see life as sacred. Live without having to compare my truths to my family and friends' understanding.
Okay.
Live without feeling hostage to those playing authority figures. Live without having to follow group consciousness or herd expectations. Live without fighting or being argumentative to state your truths.
Okay.
Live without convincing others of your truth. Live without having to go outside yourself for others' opinion of your reality.
Okay. Okay. So just bringing myself back. Thank you, Debbie. Okay. So I want to remind you that we're the Moving Beyond Trauma Project. We have many resources at our website, the Moving Beyond traumaproject.org. We have podcasts from this winter. We also are asking if any of you are interested in volunteering. We have volunteer positions. We would love, to build our team. These volunteer positions could grow into paid positions as our nonprofit grows. We have blogs, and we have our, of course, Facebook page. So if our talks resonate with you, please let us know that you're there. And if you have questions, let us know. We're all available for sessions, and we have some great initiatives that we're going to be starting soon. And so we want people to know. So thank you for joining us. And I hope the rest of your day or your evening go well. And until the next time, thanks. God bless you all.
Thanks.